Halos had a very good start to their Labor Day weekend last night, picking up the victory 5-2 the final. Tonight it is Game 2 against the visiting Texas Rangers. With the victory last night, the Angels did pick up a game in the wild card standings. They now find themselves 2.5 back of the Texas Rangers and 5.5 back of the Houston Astros in the West. As we welcome you inside the Big A and back to Angels Baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Kubica. I'm Victor Rojas. And last night, of course, it was the hero that is C.J. Cron. And we go back to July 4th. He had 6 runs batted in against the Texas Rangers. He continues to swing the bat well. Last night, 5 RBIs, pardon me.
Yeah, Victor, he loves Ranger pitching, no question about it. Take a look at our AT&T U versus Rewind last night. Perfect swings throughout the evening for C.J. Cron. All these swings with 2 outs. Bases loaded, got jammed a little bit, but strong enough to get at least part of the barrel of the bat on that baseball. Driving in 2 runs, and then as the game extends in there, the great swings he had, crushing the ball to right center field, picking up his first triple of the season, second of his career, and then once again with 2 outs, doubles, 1 hops the wall in right center field, so using the entire field, off-speed pitches, fast speed pitches, crushing everything against the Texas Rangers. If you look at his numbers in his career, at least this season, I should say, against a .460 batting average, 17 RBI in 12 games. Continues to swing the bat well. They're going to need that against Derek Collins tonight.
Yeah, CJ originally as DH. He is at first base. Albert serving as the DH tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the ballgame. Tonight, Mike Scioscia hands the ball off to Jared Weaver over his last couple of starts. A little bit shaky. They need him to step up tonight.
Well, he's throwing the ball very well throughout his career against Texas. Got 15 career wins against 15-8. But what he has done against the Rangers at home, 10-0 career mark at home, and the Angels have won his last 13 starts against the Rangers, and he's pitched into that 7th inning in his last 11 starts. So we need to see Weave use that curveball, use that changeup, get deep in the game, and win this game 2 of this 3-game set.
Halos trying to make it 2 in a row, pick up yet another game in the wild card standings. We are just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Angels Baseball is brought to you by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. CarMax, start here. By Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. By Foster Farms Fresh and Natural, locally grown and no added hormones. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. degrees expected throughout the night. And that means the ball's going to fly a little bit. You got the 1 hour earlier start time as the Angels are taking the field. Jared Weaver with a new look. He has cut the locks off, Gooby, and a little more aerodynamic this way, I would imagine.
Yes, better deception, I think. Right now they're used to seeing that hair flying all over the place for Weaver. Going back to old school look for Weave. He's trying to obviously turn the page the last couple of starts for him, but those numbers he's had in his career versus the Rangers has to make you feel good when you take that mound tonight. And
we've gone with the home whites as opposed to the alternate reds that we've seen the last couple of days with the victory. So with that said, we will check out Jeff Bannister starting lineup for the visiting Texas Rangers at 70 and 63. They are in second place in the American League West. DeShields, Chu, and Fielder the top third of the order, with Prince serving as a DH. Beltre, Moreland, and Andrews in the middle third. Odor at second. Venable gets a start tonight in left field. Bobby Wilson, the former Angel, batting ninth and doing the catching as they take on Jared Weaver. 21st start of the season for Jared. 6-10 on the year and a 4.94 ERA.
Yeah, we just talked about how well he's thrown. That 10-0 career mark at home against the Rangers. 6-10 this season alone. But my go-tos for Weaver to be successful against this Ranger club, it's all about that command of his curveball and changeup and throwing it for strikes. Both things that are impressive as far as this year's strike percentage. 74% for his curveball, 70% for his changeup. Going to need that pitch against this Ranger club who loves to hit the fastball. Curveball, changeup, important tonight for Weaver.
Check out the defense tonight behind Jared Weaver. Colin Cowgill gets his first start since coming off the disabled. Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun at right. The infield with David Freese and Eric Ibe on the left side, Taylor Featherston and C.J. Cron on the right. Chris Iannetta gets a starting nod behind the plate.
And Weaver, being a fly ball pitcher, has a solid outfield, including Colin Cowgill, who's been very good out in left field throughout his career. This is his first start in that position since May 21st. Does have 2 outfield assists, no errors, but covers a ton of ground in left field.
Mentioned in the open that Albert Pujols originally scheduled to start at first base, but the Angels making a lineup change. Cron and Albert flip-flopping. Albert will DH. He's been dealing with a sore toe in which he kind of jammed at a double play in Cleveland. Because of that, he's been kind of overcompensating, and that has issued all of a sudden it's a right knee issue has kind of crept up on him. So it's bothered him a little bit, but he is fighting on it. Will be the DH tonight. As Weaver's first pitch tonight is in for a strike.
Well, he knows the importance he has for this team to be in that lineup, whether it's the DH or playing first base, that bad, dangerous threat in the lineup for the rest of the season.
Shields takes a breaking ball for strike 2. Center fielder had a 1-for-5 game last night. It was a double in the first inning. 17th of the year. And we pointed it out last night, but he going into the series had not hit into a double play, hit into 2 of them last night. Terrific speed, slow roller to short. Tough play for Ibar. Gets rid of it quickly. And there's out number 1. And I'm sure we'll get our first phone call downstairs to see if he did get the out at first. But a slowly hit baseball.
Take a look at our Hyundai key for this game for the Angels to be successful on a little motley crew, and staying with that theme, home sweet home. Weaver versus the Rangers, 10-0. And the Angels have won his last 13 starts against the Rangers. So very important to keep that rolling for Weaver being at home against the Rangers.
No argument from Texas on the play at first base, so 1 out. Shin-Soo Choo looks at a strike. He's the right fielder. 3-hit game last night with a single, a double, and a triple. He was robbed of an extra base hit in the 5th inning. That was the play by Shane Victorino. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Choo hitting .252, 16 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Choo, a .378 lifetime hitter against Weaver. 5 runs batted in. That's a pretty good pitch.
Upper part of the strike zone. Weaver wants to know where that pitch was.
They're saying it was inside, according to a home plate umpire, Marty Foster. Last night, Mark Wegner would not call the bottom part of the zone for either guy. For any of the guys, I should say. Primarily the starters. And there's a walk. So a man on for Fielder. Jared in his last 2 starts, as a matter of fact, both on the road. 1 win, 1 loss. He won at Detroit, giving up 6 runs in 5 2/3 through 86 pitches now, and then took the loss against Cleveland, going 6 innings, giving up 8 runs on 9 hits. A couple of misplays certainly factoring into that start at Cleveland. Fielder had a 3-walk game last night. 1 was intentional. Ended up going 0 for 2. Big lead for Chu. Now it's downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. .316 average for Fielder. 18 home runs, 73 RBIs. Angels in the outfield play him the opposite way. Cowgill toward the line and Trout toward left center.
He's trying to muscle up on his fastball. Ever since that one call that was not made in the upper part of the strike zone, has kind of guided some pitches in for Weave.
We've seen Weaver at times in the early parts of games kind of battle himself. If he's able to get over that hump and feel comfortable with his stuff,
especially with this part of the lineup against Weaver. You threw this, no damage, get on a roll.
Full count. 67-mile-per-hour breaking ball.
I believe Chu's going to be running here, anticipating something off speed.
3 stolen bases on the year, has been caught once. Again, off to a pretty good lead. Check in on him.
Well, he was leaning.
Beltre on deck. True working a 1-out one. Takes off. Fielder fouls this one back. Kind of a delayed start for Chu from first base. Almost as if a left-hander were on the mound, making sure he's going home.
Better chance to have a strike him out, throw him out,
right.
But Fielder's very difficult to strike out.
62 strikeouts for Fielder this year, 500 at-bats.
Pretty amazing for a power guy.
Chu takes off again. 3-2 is down it is, so back-to-back walks with 1 out. Puts 2 men on for Adrian Beltre. Beltre last night 0 for 4. 270 average now, 13 home runs, 47 runs batted in. This one's out toward right center field. That'll get down for a hit. Trout cuts it off. Scoring is Chu. Fielder on his way to third, and Texas with a 1-0 lead. Beltre picks up his 48th RBI.
Going after that first pitch fastball. Hits that ball the other way. It's elevated enough for him to get the bat head out, hit that ball to right center field, driving in. Chu, who walked with 1 out. Now 19 for 80 for Beltre, a little bit over that 230 range career-wise against Weaver.
So Moreland will bat with runners at the corners, and the Angels down 1-0. Breaking pitch, missing low. Moreland, the first baseman. 1 for 3 last night with a single, hitting .286, 18 home runs, driven home 68. .313 hitter in his career against Weaver with a couple of home runs. This one's fouled back.
Slow ground out off the bat. Ground out, I should say, off the bat of DeShields. 2 walks to Chu and Fielder. Now the single by Beltre. Little bouncer foul. And it's 1-2. Now for Weaver, it's all about limiting the damage. Breaking pitch, and that hit Moreland. Moreland was hit by a pitch last night. Garrett Richards. Now they're loaded up.
Slow break a ball. The back foot as he strides forward. Right on the back foot. Hitting the front foot yesterday. But now he's facing Elvis Andrus, who's got good career numbers. 307 against Weaver. Talk about a key part of the game. Even though we're owning the first inning, this is a huge part of the game for Weaver and the Angels to stay close here. Try to limit the damage.
.20 pitches thrown by Weaver. 10 balls, 10 strikes. Andrews hitting .263 with 6 home runs, 50 runs batted in. 1 for 2 last night with a single and a couple of walks. Fielder standing at third, Beltre at second, Moreland at first. Angels looking for that double play. The only man playing in a little bit is Crone at first base. First one in for a strike. Cole playing shallow and right. As are Trout and Calgill in center and left respectively. Breaking pitch, missing low. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Andrews has grounded into 10 double plays this year. Two balls and a strike.
Looks like he's really trying to force his fastball. Dropped his elbow enough there, or had more of cut action off the plate. Will throw a cut fastball, but not at the right angle to be successful hitting the spot.
This one's popped up shallow left, not very deep. Fielder's not going to be able to score on this one. Calgill makes the catch, 2 down.
Good pitch from Weaver. Off speed at 75. Still some work to do to limit this damage. Get that one tough inning out of the way here early.
So 2 outs, bases still loaded. Rougned Odor at the plate. Rangers second base with, I don't know, for 2-9 with a sac fly. 44 RBIs on the season. Looks at a breaking pitch for a strike.
That almost cut off the inside part of the plate and almost hit Odor again. That feel for the fastball.
That's been an issue for him too, trying to throw that no-seam fastball that tails back across the plate against lefties. Good batter in his last start as well. Breaking pitch out toward right center field, not very deep. It'll hang up for Trout. So Weaver gets into some trouble, limits the damage to just 1 run. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols coming up. The Angels trailing it. Angels in game number 135. Cole Calhoun at right field. Mike Trout at center. Albert Pujols DHing tonight with C.J. Cron at first. Eric Ibar short. David Freese at third. Colin Cowgill in left. Chris Arnetta behind the plate. Taylor Featherston rounding out that starting nine. He is at second base as they take on the 28-year-old left-hander, native of Newark, Ohio. His name is Derek Holland.
Derek Holland has very good stuff. Very good competitor. Fastballs 90-95. Slider, curveball, changeup. My go-to is to be successful against Holland. Look for that mistake fastball in. He likes to pitch inside. Sometimes that'll drift out, and it's Trout time. Time for Mike Trout to start carrying the club, hitting that extra base hits, and maybe a few out of the yard here.
Just the fifth start of the year for Holland as he misses outside on the first one to Cole. 2-1 record, a 2.82 ERA. He is coming off a complete game shutout against the Baltimore Orioles. Roller foul off the leg, and it's 1-1 strike. Holland got hurt first start of the season. Called a subscapular strain in his left shoulder. For his final warm-up pitch in that home opener on April the 10th. Finished the first inning, and then he was done. Couldn't pick up a baseball for a while. So now back. His first road start. Delivers a 1-1. It's low. 2 balls and a strike.
Got his pitching some big games and won some big games wearing that Ranger uniform.
Missed a lot of time last year. As a matter of fact, his first road start since September 17th of last year. Just his third road outing in the last 2 years. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Most times you prefer to pitch out on the road instead of the ballpark there in Arlington, where the baseball carries so well.
Making his 19th career start against the Angels. That was down at a full count. The Angels about his number. He's 6-6 with a 5.83 ERA.
And I remember the games where they've had success against Holland. They worked some walks in there too. Maybe throw a lot of pitches and then groove a fastball and don't miss it.
3-2 foul back. And last year he was limited. Mentioned that knee problem. He's made 6 appearances, 5 starts. Full count on Cole Calhoun. Texas getting a run in the first inning. An RBI single by Adrian Beltre. Trout on deck. Try to pitch him inside, and this one's pulled to the right side. Odor has it. There's the first out. Here's the defense for Texas tonight. Venable, DeShields, and Chu from left to right in the outfield. Beltre, Andrews, Odor, and Moreland from third to first. Wilson behind the plate.
And Odor has done a real nice job coming back after being sent down just to work on a number of things. No errors in his last 19 starts at second base. Very good arm himself. 13 errors overall on the season. He's a guy that covers a ton of ground and a very, very strong arm as far as turning double plays.
Trout hitting .297. Still at 33 home runs, 74 runs batted in. 1 for 3 last night with a single and a walk. 2 runs scored.
Holland does have a good changeup. That was his first one he's thrown. That was a little bit off the outside corner, though.
Fouled it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last home run for Trout. August the 7th. His birthday against the Orioles.
If you're a youngster at home, even though that pitch before was a changeup off the plate, it was not a strike, it still sets up your fastball. You see that late swing for Trout because of the changeup changes speed the pitch before.
And that's driven out toward right center field. DeShields giving chase. Not going to get there. That's off the top of the wall. Ricochets back toward the infield. Trout motors into third easily with a stand-up triple. 5th triple of the season.
Well, he stayed back on this well. 94-mile-an-hour fastball, inside-out approach. That's that compact swing. And you can see by the reaction from Derek Holland is hoping that baseball stayed in the yard, and it barely did. Off the wall and the speed of Mike Trout, 5th triple of the season.
Infield back with Pujols at the plate, DHing tonight. 248 average, 35 home runs, 80 runs batted in. He takes way inside. Albert went 0 for 2 last night with a couple of walks. In off the plate.
Trout will definitely be going on contact here on any ground ball.
A strike. Albert with pain in that right foot next to the big toe has been the issue. Woke up this morning, a little soreness in his knee for the overcompensation. He might actually be DH the rest of the way. 2-1. Check swing, 3 balls and a strike. That's what Albert said before the game today, talking about pushing through it, especially at this time of year. I'm not going to throw in the towel on my teammates. I have to push through.
And it's so important to have that leadership, knowing how important he is to this team in scoring runs and an opportunity to potentially get into the postseason.
Off speed outside, he works the walk. So first and third with 1 out. And Crow now at the plate. 5 RBIs last night. It's being called back up. He's hit .325 with 9 home runs and 31 runs batted in. He will look at a strike. Against Texas this year, a .460 average. He's 23 for 50 with 2 home runs and 17 runs batted in. Little cue shot back toward the mound. Holland bobbles it. The run will score. We're tied up at 1 to make that 18 RBIs now. It was going to be tough to turn 2 on that ball.
Yeah, it was going to be one, especially as a left-handed thrower. You're going to have to turn and pivot, throw back second. Even though we've seen the Rangers really turn some real good double plays, that was hit slow enough. He had to spin around the throw to Andrus, unable to do so. Will this take the out at first base? Good decision by Holland after he was unable to field that cleanly. C.J. Cron, another RBI, get him 38 on the season.
So 2 outs. Pujols at second. Here's Eric Ibar. Ibar last night 0 for 4. He skies this one out towards shallow center field. Odor going out to Shields with his speed. Comes in, calls him off, makes the catch. And the inning is over. But the Angels do tie things up as we hit to the second. It's a 1-1 game.
body on his fastball. You generally want to get that arm out in your front leg, but he's pulling across his body, trying to force that action on his cut fastball inside, and that's the reason why he hasn't been able to hit his spot. Really good angle here. When he's on his game, you're going to see his arm all the way over that front leg, but he pulled across his body, a little bit off as far as his fastball at this point.
8-9-1 for Texas here in the second. Venable, Wilson, and DeShields. Evens up the count. Venable acquired a couple of weeks ago from the San Diego Padres. 32-year-old veteran. He went around the breaking pitch, 1-2. Playing in his 13th game with Texas. Pinch hitter last night. He worked in the walk against Houston Street. Called strike 3, got him on the outside corner, 1 down.
And coming up later in the game, we'll check out the big news from around the majors on the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. A milestone in Toronto. And some sweet music down in Houston.
Frank Viola? No?
The other sweet music.
Oh.
The guitar player.
There's Bobby Wilson. 200 average. 4 doubles, 11 runs batted in. Bobby looks at a strike. 1 for 2 last night. Single and a ground out for the former Angel. Was with the Rays to start the year. Put on waivers. Texas claimed him. Breaking ball missing low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bobby, a 48th round pick of the Angels back in '02 out of St. Petersburg College. And down he goes. 2 outs.
Slider, then curveball to get a swing and miss against his former battery mate. Good curveball. See where that starts, almost at the letters or above the letters. Out in front at 67 miles an hour. Swing and miss for Weaver.
So 2 outs, and here's DeShields, who grounded out to short to start the game. Big slider.
Starting to get a feel for his slider to go along with his curveball and changeup.
3 strikeouts in a row for Jared Weaver. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Tied at 1. David Freese, Colin Cowgill, Chris Iannetta. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend. One more against Texas tomorrow afternoon. The Dodgers rolling to town. Two-0 count on Freese.
Good to see two pretty good pitchers the first two games of that series for the Dodgers. Greinke and Kershaw.
The Dodgers making an adjustment. So Greinke will pitch on Monday. Kershaw Tuesday. Freese looks at the strike. That's 2-1. David hitting .244 with 11 home runs, 45 runs batted in. 1 for 3 game last night with a double. His 18th. That was down the right field line. Ground ball toward the hole. One out. Angel fans, next week is Get Your Red On Week right here at Fox Sports West. It all starts Monday as the Angels host the Dodgers in the 3-game series. It continues all week as the Astros come to town for the weekend set. So you don't want to miss any of the fun on social media either. Make sure you're following Fox Sports West and Angels Baseball on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Also follow Ken French. He's got his red on all the time.
Oh, no question.
And orange on occasion.
During the wintertime.
Yeah. Colin Cowgill will start tonight in left field, hitting 177 on the season.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike count.
Cowgill 3 for 10 against Holland with 2 home runs.
Just missed low. Pretty good pitch. Cowgill shoots one foul.
You see a little bit of a late swing after a changeup the pitch before. As a hitter, you're hoping for fastball after fastball so you can time it.
Called strike 3. Looked like it missed in off the plate, but it's a called strike 3 for the second out. First strikeout for Holland.
Target set on just off the inside corner, framed well by Bobby Wilson. A little bit off the inside corner according to our Fox tracks. Bobby Wilson did a nice job of framing that pitch and giving Marty Foster a better look at it, thinking it was a strike.
Iannetta looks at a breaking pitch for a strike.
Well, I know all the Ranger pitchers love throwing to Bobby Wilson because of that fact, how quiet his hands are and how he frames pitches well.
Iannetta hitting 180 with 8 home runs, 30 runs batted in. Looks at a strike. There's the 1-2. This one line to center, a base hit. A good piece of hitting for Chris. Where he brought his hands in there. Especially with 2 strikes.
And a fastball at 95 up and in. Inside with that fastball. Brought his hands in. See how he was able to tuck that in right by his body to be able to get the barrel of the bat out. To be able to get that ball into center field.
So he's on board for Featherston. Taylor hitting 135 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. That hit last night, going 1 for 4. Teams exchanging runs in the first. Beltre an RBI single and Prone with the RBI ground out. Darn ball over to second base. Sharply hit by Featherston. Odor's got it. We will head to the third. 9-1.
Today, Cal Ripken played in his 130th straight game to tie Lou Gehrig's record. It was against the Angels in Baltimore. As he breaking that streak and add another 502 games to that streak and ended with 2,632 consecutive games played for Cal Ripken. Also in that series against the Angels, homered in all 3 games.
Two, 3, and 4. Chu, Fielder, and Beltre for Texas here in the 3rd inning. And that is lined, and one hopper into the glove of Taylor Featherston. And he throws out Shin-Soo Chu. Nice play into the shift.
Not an easy play for an infielder to field the ball on that grass. Well played by Featherston. Short hop on a line drive. Needed that arm strength to get Chu at first base.
Fielder drew a walk in the first and was stranded at third base. Weaver allowed a hit, 2 walks, and a hit batter in that first inning. It's cued over to third. Boy, that ball had a lot of spin on it. Good changeup throw by Freese to throw out.
You really have to look at that baseball in your glove.
Hey fans, on Monday the Freeway Series returns to the Big A. Angels taking on the Dodgers at 6:05. Don't miss out on this great rivalry. Purchase your tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com. Dodgers took care of business against the Angels at Dodger Stadium earlier this year.
So you're saying it's time to return the favor back to them at home here.
All important homestand for the Angels. So yes. Beltre with a base hit in the first inning, picked up his 48th RBI. 1 for 1. Down the line toward the seats.
There's a lot of at-bats in his career versus Weaver for Beltre. Not surprised he jumped on that first pitch fastball. He's had a tough time staying back, whether it's a slider or curveball from Weaver throughout his career.
One ball, 2 strikes. That is down the left field line. Beltre goes down to a knee as he falls down on that swing.
I guess you can't help but to laugh on that one.
Slow curveball at 66 miles an hour. Slips and falls and followed through on the swing. Weaver even laughed a little bit about that one too.
Ground ball to third. Weaver with his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. Go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, top of the order coming up for the Angels in a 1-1 game.
last night. Houston Street fields his position very well, lands in a perfect position, using that glove to catch the line drive right back up the middle. You can see good fielding position, catching it with the glove and finishing off with the double play by Houston Street, fielding his position well as a pitcher.
He made it look easy. Picked up his 32nd save. Blocked out there for a second by Gary Sarcina's boiler. Calhoun is swinging a miss. He just stepped into our shot. Calhoun grounded out his first time up.
These are going to be real happy about that one.
Oh, we kid because we love. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gary's the best.
He is great. Remember that time we did the game down at the Diamond Club? He signaled to us to say hi to him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's D-Star. Trout on deck. Here's the 1-2. Cole fouls it off. Holland with 1 strikeout, 1 walk. 2 hits allowed. The triple to Trout in the first inning. The single to Chris Seinetta with 2 outs in the second.
So far in this game, Calhoun against Hollins has seen some pitches. He's got ahead of him early. He's fallen back into some counts, even up the count now at 2.
Full count.
It's 2 full counts. Cole has worked so far in this game against Holland.
Payoff on the way. Cole reaches for this one. The door moves over. 1 down. Angel fans, time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WhatStateOfStrongFan. Just might see yourself in an upcoming Angels broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, last night it was Adrian Beltre. That was a busy man. We have 7 assists. Odor already with 3 today. Eight for Beltre last night. Trout looks to strike.
And Holland, generally a ground ball pitcher, though, he has given up coming into this game 5 home runs and 22 in the 3rd innings pitched. Nearly gave one up to Trout in first at bat. It's a triple for Mike Trout.
5th of the year for Trout. He scored on the Crone little comeback and the Holland bobbled. CJ get credit with an RBI there. 38th of the year.
Trout with great numbers his last 16 games versus Texas.
1-2. And he goes down swinging on a breaking ball. 2 down. 2nd strikeout for Holland.
Pretty good slider there from Holland. Threw a backdoor curveball in that sequence and finished off Trout with a slider. We were talking about X factors as far as guys on the Angel team that could be big as far as that push to the postseason. Certainly Derek Holland is that guy for the Rangers.
Fresh arm, if you will, because of the DL stint.
And a winner in the postseason.
Albert looks at the strike to even the count. He worked a walk in the first. One and two. Off-speed pitch caught the inside corner.
Starting to get a good feel between his slider, curve, and changeup now.
Everything for the most part tonight has been down for Holland. Ground ball to short. Saw Albert kind of hobble coming out of the batter's box as the Angels go down in order. 3 complete. It's a 1-1 game. Texas, 12:35 start. Then on Labor Day on Monday, the Dodgers in town. Remember, that's a 6:05 start on Monday. 2 7:05 starts on the 8th and 9th, an off day on Thursday. And then the Astros in town for a 3-game set. Then after that, it's just one more homestand, a 6-game set between Seattle and Oakland. Here in the fourth, a 1-1 game. Moreland leading things off. He will look at a strike. Moreland was hit by a pitch in the first inning, was stranded at first, so no official at bat for him. We were through 27 pitches in the first, 11 in the second, 10 in the third. This one ripped down the line. Cole over to try to cut it off. Does so to the backhand, and he'll hold Moreland to a long single.
Well played by Cole. Still keep a double play in order for a guy that's rolled into quite a few double plays in Elvis Andrus. Right down the line, cuts that off, gets it in quickly. Nice play by Cole Calhoun. Went back-to-back fastballs against Moreland, and Moreland's very good on a fastball up. Turns on that one. A nice play by Cole to keep him to a single.
Delay as the beach ball has hit the warning track and right. Elvis Andrus hit a fly ball to left field in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. His career numbers against Jared Weaver. Breaking pitch. Caught the bottom part of the zone. It's ball 1. Moreland reaching is the first man to reach since he got hit by a pitch in the first. 8 in a row retired by Weaver before that single. 2-0 count. Minnesota just hung on and defeated the Astros 3-2.
Kevin Jepson with the save for Minnesota.
Now without some interesting moments in the ninth.
A little stress.
2-0. Andrews pulls one down the line. That's a fair ball. Calgill plays the ricochet, and he comes up with a clean one. Moreland to third base. It's a double for Elvis Andrews. 2 on and nobody out here in the fourth for Texas. Andrews with his 25th double.
Slow slider that backed up on Weaver. Andrews brought his hands in, hits that ball right down the line. Hit by a pigeon down the line. 25th double for Andrews.
Corner infielders in, middle infield back. Brugnet Odor at the plate. Swings and misses on that slow breaking pitch. Here, with a fly ball to shallow center field to end the first inning. So Odor 0-for-1. Didn't miss by much. Even to count at 1-1.
Trying to cut fastball in. We could just touch the inside corner.
Breaking pitch pulled foul. 1-2.
Yeah, that breaking ball just a little bit too much to the plate. Get a breaking ball, throw and try to bounce it. Get a swing and miss here now against Odor if you're Weaver.
Odor just 21 years of age, native of Venezuela. Upstairs. 259 last season for Texas. 114 games. Popped him up on the infield. Weaver calling for it. 1 down.
Good pitch sequence for Weaver here to get that big pop up in the infield. Starts him off with a slow curveball and a cut fastball just off the inside corner. Another slow curveball that got a little bit too much to the plate. Then fastball upstairs. And Odor looking fastball, got a cut fastball, and Weaver jams him at 83. Catches that pop up.
They're going to walk Venable here. This will be the third walk issued by Weaver, first intentional of the night. Bobby Wilson on deck. And there's ball 4. Venable struck out looking in the second, so he'll take his place at first. Moreland standing at third base. Andrews at second. The aforementioned Venable at first base. Bobby Wilson struck out swinging in the second inning.
From a steady diet of sliders and curveballs. The first at bat.
Outfield shallow with Wilson at the plate. Bobby takes low slider. One-0. Caught the inside corner.
Your thought process as a pitcher, you think I'm going to try to go back inside again with another fastball, but if I'm Weaver, I'm going slider or curveball right now. Try to keep it down, get a ground ball with Eric Ibar.
This is popped up. Playable for Featherston, who drifts out. They call the infield fly rule. 2 outs. So base is still loaded. The Shields coming to the plate.
Still a lot of work to do now for Weaver to get through this inning. Got to keep that focus. First pitch extremely important here with the bases loaded for Weaver.
The Shields is 0 for 2. He grounded out in the first, struck out in the second inning on 3 pitches.
The good thing, especially with the Shields' speed, you have a force out at every base. Because anything hit on the ground is an adventure with that speed going down the line.
Breaking pitch missing inside. 1-1 game here in the fourth. A single by Moreland down the right field line. Andrews with a double down the left field line. Odor popped up. Intentional walk developable and a pop-up to Bobby Wilson now. Weaver was able to limit the damage in the first to 1 run, trying to keep it a 1-1 tie. There's a 1-0. Off the plate, 2-0. Shields check swing roller to first. Crone flips it to Weaver. The foot race, and Weaver wins it. So he gets out of it.
Got a break on that off-speed pitch. It was the upper part of the strike zone. Didn't want to swing, but Weaver gets a big out.
Inside our broadcast booth for the first and only time tonight. We're limiting it to just one. We've met our quota.
Yes.
We're done here. But heck of a job by Jared Weaver, really, when you think about it. The way he's been pitching, getting a little trouble. First 2 guys get on base. A bases loaded situation. Nothing out of it.
Yeah, he made an adjustment with his fastball. We talked about cutting across your body. He was able to get out in front, especially on that cut fastball in against Odor to get the pop up right back to him. The short hair version of Jared Weaver.
Holland's coming off a 1-2-3 third. And first pitch swinging is C.J. Crone. Bouncing one off the mound. Odor was shading him perfectly. Crone retired for the first out. C.J. picked up his 38th RBI in the first inning.
Well, if you're Eric Ibar, you got to try to work the count here a little bit. Step out. Give Weaver a little bit of a breather. A lot of pitches thrown, a lot of tough pitches to get through that last inning with no damage. Won't have too quick of an inning and have him go back out there that fast.
Eric hit a fly ball to shallow center the first inning.
Good numbers in his career versus Holland. 340 batting average for Ibar.
This one lined right to Beltre, 2 outs. Boy, that ball got to Adrian in a hurry.
That baseball was hit so hard that it was destined to be down there in the left field corner. Playing in to protect against the bunt. Line drive. You see how they're reacting. The baseball was almost by him. And Beltre catches that line drive from Ibar. The hot corner have to be super quick to make a play like that. Gold Glove winner at third base.
Six straight retired by Holland. Freese takes outside.
So far, when Holland's been in this count against right-handed batters, he's thrown something off speed, whether it's a changeup or curveball.
Ground ball left side. Beltre has it. Halos go down in order for the books. Still tied at 1. This car was made for driving in California. Visit Dodge.com. By AT&T Uverse, more live channels on the go than cable. And by the Acura It's That Kind of Summer event. Top of the 5th inning here at the Big A. 1-1 tie. It is Filipino Heritage Night tonight. You just saw the hat down there at the bottom part of your screen. It's a good look. Good crowd. It's filtered in here on the Saturday night. Fireworks after the game. Weaver back to work here in the 5th. He's got 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Chu, Fielder, and Beltre.
Well, it was a battle last inning for Weaver. Could use a quick inning here. It's a tough part of the lineup for Texas.
1 ball, 1 strike. Chu worked a walk and scored a run in the 1st inning. Grounded out sharply to Featherston into the shift in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. Breaking pitch, and that's pulled past Featherston this time, and it's a leadoff single for the 2nd straight inning. Hey fans, on Tuesday the Angels will be hosting the Dodgers with a 7:05 start. Fans in attendance will receive an Oakley scratcher and chance to win great prize packs and discounts at the Oakley store. Get your tickets today at the stadium box office, or you can do so online. First one to Fielder upstairs. Prince will walk and a ground out. Two balls, no strikes.
A couple high fastballs in a row. We talked about that last break about cutting across his body on his fastball. A couple in a row here to Prince Fielder. 74 pitches is 40 strikes for Weaver. It's fifth 2-0 count in this game at this point for Weaver.
Skied to right. Cole moves over. It's underneath it. One away.
Back to the Hyundai key for this game for the Angels. Home sweet home. Weaver 10-0 in his career versus the Rangers in his ballpark. It has not been easy for him so far, but we know he fights all the way through. Keeping a score at 1-1 here. Now in the fifth inning, another solid effort for Weaver at home against Texas. Great overall home career record, 72-30. It's over 700 winning percentage at home for Weaver.
Beltran tonight with an RBI single and a ground. That is 1 for 2. He lowered his arm angle on that changeup there. 2 balls, no strikes.
And his past Chipper Jones, fourth most all time as far as the hit mark for a third baseman. Outstanding career for Beltran.
Lifts this one out to a shallow right. Featherston can't see it. Cole calls him off. 2 outs.
Hit high enough, he covers the ground.
Yeah.
Again, you know Beltran likes to swing at that high fastball, just a little bit out of the strike zone for him, and he pops it up.
It's that time of night right now where it's difficult to pick up
in a baseball. Yeah, it kind of blends in with the sky at this point.
So 2 outs and a man at first. It's Moreland up, hit by a pitch and a single for Moreland. And Moreland gets into one down the right field line, and this one is foul. Right size, wrong shape.
Yeah, he's thrown him 3 straight fastballs. Last at bat, second pitch, he timed the first one, pulled a foul, then he got a base hit. And we were going back inside with a fastball against him.
May not want to do that.
No. Not unless it's off the plate in. Even then, I think in terms of that changeup, go down and away, or even a fastball away, but keep it down. Inner half. He's quick.
Changeup, missing low. Another changeup, little dribbler foul.
See the difference in the swings in the all-speed pitch as compared to the fastball. He's out in front, quick on that fastball inside. Again, as a catcher right now, you got to look and notice that. You see his foot. You see his foot right there in the front. And then see where his hands are as he's anticipating something on the inner half. Now you try to do something away.
Time called. Jew with a leadoff single and a couple of fly balls to right by fielder Beltran. Weaver at 82 pitches so far. 45 have been strikes. 3 punch outs. He struck out the side of the second. He's walked 3. Moreland just got a piece of that one. Fouls it back.
A change up at 73. The hit speed range so far, best fastball 84, slowest curveball at 64. Pretty good differential as far as this best fastball and slowest curveball.
Chu takes off. The breaking ball is low. Chu's in scoring position now. Moreland with a 2-2 count. Pitch misses.
Andrews on deck, who doubled his last at bat against Weaver.
3-2 off the end of the bat towards second. In the shift, Featherston has it. Inning over. Moreland grounds out. Chu stranded in scoring position. One to the bottom of the 5th. Still tied. Will face off as coaches as interim featherweight champion Conor McGregor and Uriah Faber join an all-new season of The Ultimate Fighter. The mayhem begins Wednesday only on Fox Sports 1. 1-1 tie, bottom of the 5th. Bottom third of the order for the Halos coming up. Cal Gilline headed Featherston. Collin getting the start out in left field tonight. Struck out looking at a second.
So far in this game, Holland was just with 58 pitches thrown, especially after coming off a complete game last time out.
Lifted out towards shallow right. Odor going out, calling for it. Been a busy man tonight. One out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. 8 in a row retired by Derek Hollands. He's giving up the single to Chris Arnett in the second. Broken bat liner off the railing in front of the Rangers dugout. Ball ricochets to shallow right.
This bat is shattered. The barrel of the bat rolling towards the pitching mound. Man, did that bat explode.
Yeah. Just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and one. Got into the seats quickly. The count remains even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just off the plate. Holland will stumble there after delivering the pitch.
It looked like maybe turned his ankle. Good conversation with Bobby Wilson coming out. Those corner infielders and the follow through, and then the twist of the ankle. You see left ankle. They fixed the landing area.
And Idetta works the walk. Just the second one issued by Holland. Puts a man on for Featherston.
Shooted back by Chris.
Outside. Taylor grounded out sharply to Odor to end the second. 0 for 1.
Still keeps looking down wherever he's landing, whether to throw over the first base or to home for Holland. Now the pitch out of the strike zone, you might see a visit from Maddox, pitching coach.
Caught the bottom part of the zone to even the count. Downstairs. Top of the order, and Cole Calhoun on deck. Check swing foul. That one went off of Bobby. Taylor a little bit angry at himself. He chased the pitch, maybe borderline up. 2-2 now. That over at first base. One out here in the fifth. A 1-1 game. Both teams exchanging runs in the first. Featherston goes down swinging. 2 down. Third strikeout for Holland.
Pretty good slider there. A sharp breaking slider. Holland to get a swing and miss against Featherston.
Little bouncer. This one foul toward Alfredo.
Alfredo unable to make the play on that one. I'm sure he'll get some grief once he gets back to the dugout.
Just missed in. 1 ball, 1 strike. All right, then it takes off, and he is easily thrown out. Kind of an interesting decision there. 5 complete, still tied at 1.
Rangers threatening. Face it in to right center field, scoring the first run of the game. Weaver got through that inning, no more damage. And then Mike Trout looking for that first home run since his birthday on August 7th, off the wall. Up to his 5th triple this season, and eventually scores on a contact play and a ground ball by C.J. Cron, another RBI. And the Rangers scored. Mike Trout to tie it up at 1, and that's where we are now into the 6th inning with Weaver still on the hill. C.J. Cron, another RBI against Texas.
Weaver to face Andrews, Odor, and Venable, 6, 7, and 8. 86 pitches, 47 strikes, 3 punch outs, 3 walks. 1 was intentional. Breaking ball for strike 1. Elvis doubled down the third base line in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Of action going in their bullpen. A lefty and a righty. I'll show you in just a second. Bouncer off the foot.
You got to be ready if you're Cole out in right field, especially if Weaver throws something off speed away. He likes to try to flare the ball to that right side.
0-2. Down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Salas, the righty. Jose Alvarez, the lefty, getting ready. Count evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two off the plate, full count. Off speed, down the line, foul. In the air, down the line. Cole racing over, running out of room, and he'll make the catch. Nice play by Cole to stay with that one for the first down.
Yeah, he had his eye on that baseball, knowing that he's going to get close to that wall where there's no give in that wall in the corner. Tracks that one down. Nice play. A couple real good plays in this game for Cole Calhoun. Eye on the baseball, knows he's going to run into that wall, and holds on to the baseball as he slams into that wall. Big first out. Fan got out of the way, which is awesome to see, too. Did not interfere with that fly ball.
One ball, no strikes on Odor, who's 0 for 2. One ball, 1 strike count. Odor popped out to Weaver in the 4th. Holland looking on. He was throwing the ball well. Angels at the top of the order coming up.
Change up. Odor a little bit out in front, uncomfortable now on that foot.
Out toward left center field, hit very well. Trout, a long run back, still racing back. He will track it down. Trout again runs this one down. 2nd out of the inning.
Talked about these outfielders in this game for Weaver tonight. A lot of speed, a lot of coverage. Well, we've seen back-to-back really good plays in the outfield, especially here by Trout. Look how far he's got to go. He's playing with a pull. He's right up against the wall in left center field. You talk about coverage and some distance and the reach out and an outstanding play by Trout. The concentration, knowing that wall is getting closer and closer, especially after last night seeing what happened with Victorino when he ran into that wall. Weaver saying great play.
Venable takes outside. Two balls and a strike. Venable with a strikeout and an intentional walk.
Tried to stay back. That curveball at 63 miles an hour for Weaver. 102 pitches thrown, trying to finish off this inning.
The two strikes, hits Venable, second hit batter of the night.
And we've said it a couple times tonight where he tries to pull that fastball on the inside part of the plate across his body, right off the back of the foot. Weaver set with himself. More of a setup trying to bring that two-seam fastball back inside. Ends up hitting him in the foot. Now you have some speed at first base now.
So Bobby Wilson will bat here. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-up.
It's one of those step off and throw over moves maybe for Weaver.
Venable had 11 stolen bases with the Padres, caught once. He's got 2 with Texas.
It's a good pickup by the Rangers. You got to play all 3 outfield positions, playing well defensively, gives them good speed. It's a big lead.
No balls, 2 strikes. 67-mile-per-hour breaking ball again.
Upper part of the strike zone. One of those counts too is a base runner anticipating something off speed. You may see Venable go now. And Mike Scioscia always has that opportunity to put a pitch out on also.
Venable takes off. Bobby shoots one out to center field. Trout racing back, turns around, makes the catch, and the 6th is in the books for Jared Weaver, perhaps his last. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Angels using that defense. These guys coming up to lead off the bottom of the frame.
Yes, outstanding range for both Calhoun and Trout, and the clapping for both. Outstanding plays in the outfield. Tied at 1 here, going into the bottom of the 6th. flying. David Price wins his 100th career game. Went 7 innings, just 1 earned run. Santana looks for some sweet music down in Houston. Pitched exceptional baseball himself. Went 8 innings, just 1 earned run as he picks up the W against the Astros. Former Angel Kevin Jepsen picks up the save. David Price now 14-5 on the season with a 2.43 ERA for the Blue Jays.
Making some serious money in the offseason.
Oh, yes.
Free agent to be.
And no draft pick compensation.
Calhoun 0 for 2. Twice is grounded out to Odor. Almost got him in the shoulder.
What a job by Weaver tonight. Battled his way through 6 innings, just 1 earned run allowed on 4 hits. Looking for some offensive support right here to be in line for a W.
This one now towards shallow center field. DeShields comes racing in, dives and he can't get it. Goes off his glove. Cole will stay right there as Venable backing up, gets the baseball back in. Nice effort by DeShields, just couldn't close in on it.
Yeah, we talked about closing speed. We talked about Trout's closing speed on that ball to the wall. There too, DeShields almost makes an outstanding play on the dive, just past the top of the glove, deflection off the glove. He had to go a long way to almost make that play. Leadoff hit for Cole Calhoun.
3rd hit for the Angels. Texas has 4. Trout has one of those hits, a triple in the 1st inning. Mike struck out swinging in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. No balls, 1 strike. Throw to first. Can hang that leg up there.
He's real good as far as slowing down a running game. He has 1 pickoff this season. He's only allowed 1 stolen base the entire year. He hasn't pitched a whole lot, but he's always had a good move to first.
Holland making his 5th start of the season. Foul back 0-2.
We talked about Trout has not homered since his birthday. He's come real close of late. In Cleveland on Sunday at the top of the wall, ends up with a triple. And tonight in right center field, high off the wall, another triple. So close getting that home run for Mike Trout.
Trout goes down swinging for the 1st out. 2nd time Holland's gotten him on that breaking pitch down and in.
Hard slider. Nasty slider. Starts lower part of the strike zone, then down and in, an 84-mile-an-hour slider from Holland.
Albert with a walk and a ground out is 0 for 1. .81 pitches, pardon me, 82 pitches now thrown by Holland. 50 for strikes, 4 strikeouts and 2 walks.
Well, with the foot feeling the way it is for Albert and his knee, he's going to look for something on the inner half of the plate to try to turn on. And Holland's trying to stay away against him. Change up away off the corner, that fastball on the outside corner.
One. That's out toward right center. DeShields moves over underneath it. Makes the catch. Cole tags but stays there. Good throw by DeShields. 2 outs.
Just missed that one. Pulls a changeup. Middle part of the plate.
Crone 0 for 2 with an RBI. Ground ball to short. Elvis to his left, flips it over to Odor. They force out Calhoun. Lead off single and nothing more for the Angels. Was it the 7th? Still tied at 1.
Log on to MercuryInsurance.com to get a fast, free quote and see how much you can save. And by Hyundai, the Labor Day clearance event is going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Oh, beautiful shot. They say it's the happiest place on earth. That's what I'm told anyway.
Yes, indeed.
So 1-1 tie as we begin the 7th. Fernando Salas takes over on the mound for Jared Weaver. To our in and out, who's in, who's out. Salas pitched on Monday through 31 pitches. He'll face the top of the order here for Texas. DeShields, Chu, and Fielder.
58th game for Fernando. Fastball, solid 90-94 range. Very good. Swing and miss changeup, solid slider.
Jared Weaver tonight, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. 1 was intentional. 1 run, and that was earned. That was in the first inning. Limited the damage in the first to 1 run. So he faced 7 batters. Also get out of a bases loaded situation in the 4th. DeShields tonight 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a punch out. 0-2. Ground ball over to second. Featherston gets rid of it quickly, and there's out number one.
And you better with him running down the line how quick he got down there.
Taylor's got a terrific arm, but times he takes a little while to wind up, and you start worrying a little bit when you get a guy like DeShields getting down that line.
No doubt. It's going to force a perfect throw.
Two 1 for 2 with a walk and a single. Chu scored on the Beltre single in the first inning. Went around 1-2.
Good life in that fastball from Fernando at 93 with late movement. Right back with that same fastball upstairs. 93 with movement, late on it.
The 1-2. Down goes Chu. 2 outs.
It's a great changeup.
Fans, the Angels host the Astros on Friday. That's the first of a 3-game set. Fans in attendance will receive a Mike Trout Freedom shirt courtesy of State Farm while supplies last. Get your tickets here at the ballpark, or you can do so online. Here's a look at it.
It's a pretty cool t-shirt.
Yeah, live and in Technicolor.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Here's Fielder, 0 for 2 with a walk. Texas with 4 hits, the Angels with 3. Fielder, he went around. Fielder wants Marty Foster to check. He doesn't have to. It's up to the umpire at home to decide if he needs help on the check swing. One ball, one strike. Halos in the bottom of the 7th inning of Ibar Freeze and Cowgill due up. Derek Collins just 86 pitches for him. He's been very, very good tonight. 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. Sporting the old Ricky Vaughn Wild Thing hairdo.
It's a good look.
3 balls, 1 strike. Charlie Sheen was happy to see Holland pay tribute.
And Weaver with the haircut today also.
Yeah, Holland or Sheen may have even hashtagged it with winning. A bouncer foul.
He celebrated a birthday the other day, I think.
50.
Turned 50, yes. Yeah. So he's winning. He's winning.
50 years old. I'm feeling pretty good about my 47 and a half now.
So he joined the 50 club. Charlie
ARP,
Sheen.
right?
Yes, indeed.
You flashing that in restaurants? You are, aren't you? No wonder you always want to pick up the tab. Fielder fouls it off. No, I got it.
It's Club 50. That's all we say. Club 50.
That double ARP card underneath the Amex.
I got it. I got it, alligator arms. I got it.
Yeah.
All covered up.
Save it.
Us veterans, elderly, at 53.
Payoff to Fielder. Rounds this one over to Crone to the backhand. Salas is covering. And a 1-2-3 for Fernando. Stretch time here at the ballpark. 1-1 tie. Photo of the game. Tweet us your strongest fan photo to hashtag West Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. And it's brought to you by T-Mobile. Tim Salmon. He's in the picture. He's everywhere.
He is everywhere.
Signing autographs. He's a legend. Blew us off today when we wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, he did.
Before the game, too.
He Angel Hall of Famedest.
Yeah, he really did. Beautiful Heisman pose.
Yeah, he did.
Here's Ibar. 0 for 2 with a fly ball to center and a line out. Smoked one right at Beltre in the 4th inning. Chopper on the first base line. No balls, 2 strikes. The only time that Holland has faced more than 4 batters was the first inning. And the Angels got that run. Trout to triple, a walk to Pujols. Ground out RBI for Crone. 4 or fewer since then. Gave up the leadoff single to Calhoun in the 6th inning. Struck out Trout, Pujols, and Crone, making the last 2 outs.
Really impressive when you think about it. He's coming off a complete game, which he threw 116 pitches. You put that in perspective. He just got back from the disabled list not that long ago.
Yeah, and we mentioned too that he hasn't really pitched a whole lot in 2 seasons. Last year was the knee that kept him out. 6 games, 5 starts last season. This being his 5th start this year. 2-2. Ibar drives one out toward left center field. Playable for the Shields as he moves back to his right. 1 away. David Freese 0 for 2. Grounded out twice to the left side, once to short, once to third. time called.
Seems like when he's got a head against right-handed batters, will throw that sharp slider down and in.
Some action now in the Rangers pen. The 1-2. He's fouls it back. Good rip at that fastball.
With a swing like that, you would probably see that slider back in and down. First time was really, not that it was a bad pitch on the slider, but that one was knocked down and then got a little bit more of the plate than he wanted to.
Ross Ollendorf, first man up for Texas. Freeze takes just inside. Evens a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two on the way. Freeze shoots one out to right field. This one moving Shin-Soo Choo back. And just shy of the track, makes the catch. The second out. Maybe earlier in the night or in a day game, ball's got a chance to at least go off the wall.
And one thing that Freeze does well, he uses the entire field. Hit that ball well, but Choo able to run it down.
2 outs, Calgilla. Collins struck out looking for the second and popped out in the 5th.
He tried to jump on a first pitch fastball here.
But like takeaway from tonight for Holland is that even his misses have been pretty much down in the zone, just off the plate. He hasn't made too many mistakes up in the zone.
He is a very good pitcher. That fastball still the 99th pitch of the game. That was at 95. And another 95-mile-an-hour fastball, pitch number 101 in the game from Holland. 6 2/3 is 3 hits allowed. And that's coming off a complete game shutout. Last time out with 11 punch-outs with no walks.
Down the line, just fouled. Doesn't waste a whole lot of time. Calgill goes down swinging, and the Angels are done here in the 7th. We will head to the 8th. Still tied at 1.
all tied at 1 as we head into the 8th inning here at the Big A. Welcome back, everyone. Ken French with you, and don't forget, following this one, it's All About Angels Live postgame, presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Myself, Jose Mota, Tim Salmon, and Jill Painter Lopez will bring you all the highlights and interviews from this one. We'll also talk about Jared Weaver, big bounce-back performance here tonight at the Big A after a tough outing in Cleveland last week where he gave up 8 earned runs, which was a season high. Tonight, he loaded the bases a couple times, but he pitched out of trouble, allowing only 1 run through 6 innings. And great news for the Halos, because the news today out of the clubhouse, Matt Shoemaker will miss his start on on Monday because of a strained right forearm. So good for Weave to be back to his form. Fellas, let's send it back inside to you.
Thanks a lot, Frenchie. And Shoemaker, tightness in his forearm. MRI showed no real damage, so that's good. We'll see how long he is out of the rotation. Figure that Nick Tropiano will get the opportunity at that point to fill that void, but we will let Mike Scioscia make that determination as Joe Smith takes over here in the 8th inning. Beltre, Moreland, and Andrews coming up for Texas in a 1-1 game. Joe pitched in last night's game, went 1 inning, had 1 strikeout and 1 walk. Slider first pitch for a strike. Beltre 1 for 3, an RBI single in the first inning, picking up his 48th run batted in. Oh, with 2
good sliders in a row for Joe Smith.
Sinking fastball down and in. They wanted appealing, didn't go. Dribbler foul, gets Beltre. Major 3 for 15 in his career against Joe Smith. Did not face him last night. Moreland, Andrews, and Odor did. Mistake pitch. Goes up in the zone.
Hanging breaking ball. So realizing he got away with that one. Well, right off the arm, looks like a Chris Iannetta. Going to go that 2-seamer underneath the hands.
And down goes Beltre for the first out. Tomorrow it's a special edition of college football on Fox Sports 1 as the Purdue Boilermakers take on the Marshall Thundering Herd. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Pacific on your home for college football all season long. Fox Sports 1 and streaming live at Fox Sports Go. What was that? The Thundering Herd? Sound effects and everything. Like it. Moreland 1 for 2. Going off the glove. Mitch also got hit by a pitch in the first inning. Weaver hit 2 batters. Salas worked the scoreless 1-2-3-7, including a strikeout. 1-1.
At this point in the game, that's where you want to throw a majority of your pitches. Stay away and stay down.
Backdoor slider. Ibar moves over back to the shortstop side. See him at the top of your screen. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball, and that'll beat the shift. Almost where Ibar would have been. So it's a 1-out single. We'll bring up Elvis Andrus.
Nice job of going down and getting that fastball. It was a pretty good pitch from Joe Smith. Went down and got it. 90-mile-an-hour sinker.
Strasburger running for Moreland. Elvis Andrus 1 for 3 tonight. He doubled in the 4th inning, his 25th double. Two stolen bases for Strasburger. He's been caught once. Swing and a miss. Strasburger 27 stolen bases. A AAA round run. Caught 5 times. A 1-1 game here in the 8th inning. Texas now with 5 hits tonight. The Angels still with 3. Halos at the bottom of the 8th have 8, 9, and 1 due up. Appeared as if Holland was high-fiving guys in the dugout. May be done after his 7 innings, but we shall see.
Big lead there.
This one fouled off to the right.
See, he's kind of leaning back. He's not reading Joe Smith real well. Doing a nice job of holding the baseball, then quick pitching. When he is healthy, Holland is a very good. He is an ace of his staff.
Andrus takes a perfect pitch. That's a pitch in the strike zone. Doesn't get the call. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And this is right down the heart of the plate.
Good lead for Strasburger. They'll check in on him. Houston lost tonight to Minnesota, so the Angels, with a victory, can pick up a game in the standings and also pick up a game the wild card. Texas has the 2nd wild card spot. At the start of the day, the Angels 2.5 back of the Rangers in the wild card. 5.5 back of Houston. Strasburger takes off and a ground ball to second. Redirection, and Featherston has it go underneath his glove. Strasburger ends up at second base. See how they rule that, but that looked like it was right to him, even though he had to redirect. And that's a base hit. So 1st and 3rd.
Over his glove, yes.
So 1st and 3rd, a 1 out, and Rougned Odor at the plate. Oh for 3 tonight. Fly ball to center field, gave it a ride in the 6th inning, but Trout tracked it down on the warning track. Outside.
Odor very difficult to double up. On the ground into 2 double plays.
Good speed on the bases. Strasburger over at third base. Andrews at first. Andrews 15 stolen bases, been caught 7 times. Odor skies one out to center. That'll be deep enough to score Strasburger. Andrews tags. He'll stay at first. The run comes in. Texas leads it 2-1 with a sac fly by Odor. His 45th run batted in.
See a couple baseballs well to that way.
So 2 outs and a man at first, and it's Venable at the plate. Andrews takes off to throw to second. Is not in time to steal the base. The 16th.
Pretty big jump. Easy getting that hand in there. It's a matter of being able to keep the foot on the base as he went sliding by it.
2-1 Texas here in the 8th. Back-to-back hits and a sac fly with 1 out. Venable 0 for 1. Strikeout, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Venable looks at a strike. He goes down looking, but Texas strikes for a run and a couple of hits. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 2-1 Rangers. Of the 8th inning. He's gone a strong 7 innings, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's going to face Iannetta, Featherston, and Calhoun. Texas has a couple of guys loosening in the bullpen. Sam Dyson and Jake Diekman. Diekman, the power arm, formerly of the Phillies. First one in the dirt, hits off the mask of Bobby Wilson. It's ball one. Chris tonight 1 for 1 with a single and a walk.
Yeah, Wilson's done a very good job behind the plate tonight for Texas. Calling a good game for Derek Holland. Framing pitch as well. Let's go fastball away.
Broken bat bouncer right back to the mound. 1 down, 7 straight retired by Holland. He's got a new first baseman with Napoli taking over from Moreland.
And I like what Bobby Wilson did. He put down fastball away first time, and Derek Holland shook him off, went right back to that fastball away, and then got that ground ball right back to him. And that's why the staff likes throwing to Bobby Wilson.
Shane Victorino is going to pinch hit here for Taylor Featherston. Taylor finishes 0 for 2. .230 on the season with a home run and 6 runs batted in. Got the start out on left field last night at 0 for 3. 3 ground outs and a walk. Also ran into the fence out in left center field. Guys had some fun with Victorino today. There was a tape outline of his body next to the Jersey Mike's sub sign in left center.
That had some serious sound when he ran right into the wall.
Oh, chopper to the short. Elvis Andrews has it. 2 outs. Holland continues to throw those ground ball outs. And now we will go to the top of the order with Cole Calhoun coming up.
More likely last batter for sure, one way or the other for Holland.
Cole got a base hit in the 6th inning as a leadoff man. He's 1 for 3. Takes a strike. Holland's been tough on lefties. Just now 11 hits since September 7th of last year to a left-handed batter. The last home run he's given up to a lefty was August 21st of 2013. That was Jason Castro. Granted, he's missed a considerable amount of time in the last 2 seasons. But for the most part, he's been able to keep the ball in the ballpark. And he's pitched Cole very well tonight. 2 ground outs and that base hit in the 6th. Down and in. 2-1.
Cole certainly seen his fair amount of pitches against Holland. The first 2 at bats, full counts against him. Full ground out twice to Odor.
Texas with a run in the 8th. Leads it 2-1 here, the bottom of the frame. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two. Outside, full count.
3rd time in this game, full count against Cole Calhoun.
Trout on deck. There's the payoff. Cole bounces this one over to the right side. Odor has it, flips to Napoli. The Angels go down in order. We head to the 9th with Texas leading it. Angels made a pitching change. It's Mike Moore pitching in his 31st game this year. 1-1 and a 7.33 ERA. Moore will be facing 9-1-2, trying to keep this a one-run deficit. He'll have a new second baseman as Ryan Jackson takes over. Joe Smith ended up going 1 inning, giving up 2 hits, had 2 strikeouts, 1 run. Joe's now allowed a run in 3 of his last 4 outings. Non-streak, and anything that also could have gone his way. Andrews probably should have been rung up on that 2-strike pitch. It wasn't called, but he did throw a ground ball. Featherston didn't come up with it. And Odor got the sac fly to get that run in. Here's Bobby Wilson. 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout and 2 fly ball outs. Breaking pitch in there.
Great change up there.
Moore pitched in Oakland on the 1st. Faced 1 batter. Prior to that, last big league outing was July 28th at Houston. That's inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alvarez still loosening for the Angels, so he might face Chu, his 3rd batter due up. Changeup cued off the bat. Moore keeps on running. Crone feeds it. There's the out. 1 out.
Done very well by Crone and Moore to make sure once it got by as a pitcher, just go right to the base. Good feed from C.J. Crone. Changeup off the end of the bat. You got to follow through as a pitcher, get to that base as quick as possible. Good feed by C.J. Crone, who's going to be playing a lot of first base in these last few weeks of the season, with Albert dealing with some issues with the foot and knee.
The Shields at 0 for 4 tonight. 3 ground out to the strikeout. Oh, 2. Baseball popped over the bullpen left field. Callgill had to retrieve it. Fastball away. 94. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Angels in the 9th inning have Trout, Pujols, and Crone due up. Texas has its closer getting ready, Sean Tollison. 1-2. Change up and down goes to Shields for the 2nd out.
A tough time staying back on some off-speed pitches, whether changeup or curveball in this game. Perfect pitch. Great changeup. Cut action on the changeup.
So 2 outs, nobody on for Shin-Soo Choo, who's 1 for 3, singled in the 5th. He's also walked and scored a run. There's a look at 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Angels. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 runs, 6 hits, 9 left on for Texas. The Angels with 1 run, 3 hits, and 3 stranded. Three 0. Fielder on deck.
Might see Mike Scioscia, if indeed Chu works a walk here, go to the bullpen.
And there's a 4-pitch walk. And with Fielder coming up, and that's exactly what Scioscia's going to do here. So a pitching change in the 9th inning. Morin retired the first 2 guys, now walks Chu. Fielder coming to the plate, so it'll be Jose Alvarez being called upon. Texas on top 2-1 with a pitching change here in the 9th. At 2-1, it'll be Fielder that Alvarez will be facing. Jose did not get into the game last night. Will be facing a tough left-handed hitter in Prince Fielder. Alvarez pitching in his 49th game this year for the Angels. 3-3 mark at a 3.92 ERA. 57 and a third innings, 51 strikeouts, and 20 walks. Opponents hitting 234 against him. Should be ready to go. This Fielder will step up. Chu worked the walk, net chase more, and it's Drew Stubbs pinch running over at first base. Stubbs with terrific speed. Fielder chops the first pitch over to Taylor Featherston. Third out is recorded. We will head to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Angels down by the score of 2-1. We'll have Trout, Pujols, and Cron coming up. That's what he did back in the first.
Here's a top-tier play of the game brought to you by Arco. Almost got his first home run since his birthday back on August 7th. High off the wall. Triples. Eventually scores the only run of the game for the Angels. And he'll be leading off this inning with an opportunity to tie it up with one swing of the bat.
John Tollison, the closer for the Texas Rangers, comes into the game. 62nd ball game. He's 28 for 30 in save opportunities. 5-3 mark and a 2.93 earned run average.
Yeah, fastball.
Texas native.
Good fastball, 91-95. Slider. Occasional cut fastball, but very good changeup.
Originally in the Dodgers system. He was out of Baylor University. Just Stubbs stays in the game. He's in left. Venable moves over to right. Trout 1 for 3 with that triple. First one is a strike on the inside corner. Derek Holland tonight, 8 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. He struck out Trout twice on sliders down and in. Donaldson with 66 punch outs, 17 walks in his 61 and a third innings. Opponents have been .233 against the right-hander.
Bullpen much better of late for Texas.
One. Fastball off the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Most closers attempt to do. Pitch is a big part of the ballpark.
Going back away again.
3-1. Pujols on deck.
One thing to keep in mind if Trout can get on base here too, if he's wide again with another pitch. Bobby Wilson has not thrown out a base stealer yet this year. 11 stolen bases in 11 attempts.
3-1. Trout takes a strike on the bottom part of the zone. Full count. Similar general area. Pitch to Elvis Andrus in the 8th. Full count now. Wilson back outside. Here comes the payoff pitch. Trout works. No, it's a called strike 3 on the outside corner, 1 down. A borderline pitch goes against Trout.
And this fastball, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. If it's touching the outside corner, it's barely touched, but credit Bobby Wilson. The key is when you frame a pitch like that, just keep the glove there. Don't move it. Don't try to bring it back. You give the illusion to the umpire that it is in the strike zone.
So Albert up with 1 out, nobody on. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Breaking pitch. This is low. Albert dealing with the sore right foot. Happened in Cleveland. A double play ball. Originally slated to start at first base, but Mike Sosa made the change before the game. And Albert DH with Crone at first. Bouncer over to short. Elvis Andrus has it. 2 down, so the Angels down to the last out here. Jeopardy of dropping that game they picked up last night to Texas. And they will remain a 5.5 back of the Astros, who lost tonight to the Twins. Well, C.J. Crone can do something here. He's hitless tonight, 0 for 3. TJ picked up an RBIs, 38 in the first inning. 0-1. Check swing. They wanted to peel. Didn't go. Tomorrow it's a 12:35 start. Hector Santiago going up against the veteran Colby Lewis. One and two.
And another pitch, it looked like it might have been a little bit off the outside corner.
1-2 to Crone. He chases this one, pops it up first base side. This one into the seats. Breaking pitch from Tollison. Both teams getting runs in the first inning, and it stayed that way until the 8th. Back-to-back singles by Moreland and Andrews. And Odor with a sac fly to give Texas the 2-1 advantage. 1-2 again. Fastball fouled back. Good rip at it by Crone.
And a mistake by Tollison. Wilson wanted that fastball high out of the strike zone. It was down lower part of the strike zone.
Another fastball. This one's spoiled. Tollison turned out to be a nice find for Texas. Good arm. He stepped into that closer's role and did a nice job for him. Breaking pitch. Pulls this one foul.
Did a nice job of staying alive in this at bat, looking for that one mistake. Talked about his numbers in the opening today against Texas this season and throughout his career. Just looking for one mistake from Tollison.
Crone goes down swinging. Wilson applies the tag, and the Angels drop game 2 by the final of 2-1.
Boy, credit Derek Holland. And then finishing off with Tollison, but Derek Holland would really the story of this game. An outstanding effort coming back after having a complete game his last time out. Dominant performance and just enough offense for Texas to pull this one off. But the story of the game right there, Derek Holland picking up his 3rd win, 3-1 on the season.
Off the disabled list, 5th start of the year, picks up the win. No decision for Jared Weaver. Joe Smith takes the loss. 2-1 the final. Stick around. Angels Live postgame coming up next.